The agriculture sector grew, the fisheries sector entered new waters, and the policy agenda broke ground. This is the year in review. Amidst the growth reflected for the sector, farmers faced several challenges this past year, ranging from drought to flood and even pest attacks. Government was quick to assist these farmers in getting back on their feet.
While we are happy that the damage was not major, some of our small farmers were in fact affected and are in need of assistance, and we are committed to providing this support to get these farmers back on their feet.
Just under 1,200 registered farmers in 8 parishes who were affected by flood raids in May benefited from $76.7 million in relief. Another 300 in Portland received $55 million to assist with farming inputs, infrastructure, and rehabilitation work. Farm roads in St. Tullies and Alvey in South Manchester were repaired to the tune of $12 million.
We wanted to make sure that the farmers in this area had transport going where they could be able to get out their produce at a reasonable cost.
Over in St. Catherine and Clarendon, $52 million were spent to upgrade irrigation systems.
With climate change and insufficient irrigation being two of the factors affecting the agricultural sector, the future of sustaining and expanding this sector is going to be heavily dependent on our ability to improve and manage our water resources and in particular our irrigation system.
In efforts to boost coffee production, over 28,000 bags of newly formulated fertilizers were presented to farmers. The fertilizer prevents and corrects soil nutrient deficiencies when utilized as part of a balanced fertility program.
We're going to get more productive, and we're going to work with the large and small. We're going to build a level playing field, and we are going to build back the coffee industry in Jamaica. That is my pledge to you as the Minister of Agriculture.
Dairy farmers in Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, and St. Thomas also received $5 million worth of fertilizer and related supplies to improve their production. And as part of its mission for an agricultural revolution, the ministry successfully repurchased 18,000 hectares of land from Pan-Caribbean Sugar Company.
It is these lands that we will actively promote large investors to engage in onion production, fruit tree orchards, exotic crops whose production can make a qualitative difference.
Later in the year, Bodo's research station in St. Catherine received upgrades to its seed station and dairy units. The piggery unit is also being upgraded to first world standards to produce genetic material for high-quality pork. The facility also received a silo packer machine valued at $16,000 US.
This machine will now allow the JDDB to support small dairy farmers to store fodder as silage in order to continue to provide nutrition to their animals during periods when feed material is scarce or unavailable. In addition, the introduction of this silage making technology to Jamaica gives the dairy farmers an option that could be utilized under appropriate circumstances to become a source of cost savings, thus increasing their farm household income.
To top things off, the Veterinary Services Diagnostic Laboratory received ISO 17025 accreditation. This now strengthens Jamaica's credibility and integrity of work coming out of the lab. In the industry and commerce sectors, several policies were tabled in Parliament, including the National Investment Policy and the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise MSME and Entrepreneurship Policy.
This pivotal blueprint is the overarching policy framework by which the government of Jamaica will attract and facilitate investment.
Government also launched the National Trade Information Portal to provide a central access point for laws, regulations, procedures, and other measures relating to trade.
This is all part of a modern and coordinated approach to doing business at international standards.
The portal will become operational by mid-2019. The ministry also experienced many firsts in the year 2018. The first shipment of live lobsters from Jamaica to Shenzhen, China was exported in August, and the first shipment of legal medical marijuana extracted oil was shipped to Canada in September. The Fisheries Act was passed, laying out an updated legal framework to safeguard the local sector. The bill replaces the Fishing Industry Act of 1975 and will ramp up measures to tackle poaching and unregulated fishing in Jamaican waters. Jamaica also received $4.8 million in grant support for climate change resilience activities in the fishing industry. The grant funding will build the resilience of vulnerable fishing and fish farming communities to be able to adapt to changes. The Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, paving the way for a more sustainable economy.